Victor Masson, hanged August the 15th, 1923. At 5:35 a.m. on the morning of Wednesday, August the 15th, 1923, Victor Masson, a physically deformed French immigrant, age unknown, was hanged at the Regina Gaol for the triple murder of the Chouvelon family at Dumas, Saskatchewan, on February the 16th, 1923. Death was said to be instantaneous. The hangman was Arthur Ellis. Given the early morning hour, Masson's final words were, "Bonjour." Masson's triple murder stemmed from a dispute over $24. According to local historian Kenton de Jong, Masson believed Jean Chouvelon, an elderly farmer and a former employer, owed him the money, $440 in today's currency. He also knew Chouvelon kept a large amount of cash on the premises. He confronted the old man in the stable, and when Chouvelon refused to pay up, claimed to have placed a rope around his neck and dragged the elderly farmer around until he died, although Masson later said he had simply beaten him to death with a hammer. Masson then went to the farmhouse and used the hammer to murder Chouvelon's wife, Leona, as well as his 18-year-old daughter, Marie, before ransacking the house, taking flour, blankets, harness, and cooking utensils, but also $640, $11,600 in today's money, which he found in a tobacco container. Hoping to cover up the crime, Masson used a sled to transport Jean Chouvelon's body from the stable to the house, where he poured coal oil over his victims and set them on fire, hoping both house and evidence would burn. But, unfortunately for Masson, smoke flowing from a broken window alerted a neighbor who discovered the crime and alerted the Saskatchewan Provincial Police, who arrested Masson within 48 hours, finding both the stolen money and property in his possession. Tried at Masson, it took the jury only 32 minutes to find Masson guilty. There was no recommendation of mercy. Press reports on the case were not complimentary to the accused. An article published in the Regina Morning Leader featured such comments as, "Masson's impassive attitude is ascribed to stupidity rather than stoicism. His education is almost a minus quantity. Although deformed and lame in the right leg, Masson is an imposing physical specimen. The extremities of his arms and legs, the hands and feet, were described as the stigma of degeneracy by medical men who testified at his trial. They are enormous. The stranger would think Masson's hands were swollen. They seem so out of proportion with the rest of his body." Indeed, the photograph of Masson appearing in the Leader, with its emphasis on his wild hair and eyes, made him look violently deranged. At the time of his execution, Masson's worldly wealth amounted to only $1.30, so he was laid to rest in an unmarked grave in the potter's field of the Old Regina Cemetery. The footage you are watching shows me walking in the vicinity of Masson's grave, which is near the line of bushes. The primary source for today's video were some notes on Masson's case I received from local historian and travel blogger Kenton de Jong. I put a link to Kenton's blog and all other sources in the description. I hope you will consider subscribing to The Gallows, where we explore Canadian murder cases that ended on the scaffold. Please like, share, and comment. And remember, if you're born to hang, you'll never be shot.